I didn't lose my track season in May. I lost it in October when I stopped training. Literally 2 weeks ago, the clock ran out on my sophomore year. I completely missed my goal of breaking 2 minutes in the 800 meters. And look, I'm not making this video to give you some generic, cliche, motivational video about working harder. I'm making this because I'm still standing in the wreckage of my own choices, looking at my training data and realizing exactly how I sabotaged myself. To understand how my season went completely off the rails, we have to go back to where it started. My freshman year, I clocked a 2:05 in the 800. At Springfield High School, that put me at the 4th fastest freshman in school history. I ran faster than every single veteran on the varsity squad when they were freshmen. I had the pedigree, I had the hype, and honestly, I let it go straight to my head. I sat on the couch that summer and just assumed that breaking 2 minutes would just be some biological guarantee. I thought talent was a shield. It isn't. Because I thought that I was just naturally talented, I completely blew off winter training. I want to show you what laziness actually looks like when you look at the raw data. I remember opening my monthly mileage at the end of fall. In October, I only had 3 miles, not 30, not 33, just 3. Then November rolls around, 18 miles. December, 21 miles. January, 48 miles. At that exact moment, I knew I had a massive problem. I knew indoor season was right around the corner, but instead of trying to fix it, I kept myself in a lie. I kept saying, it's fine, I'll figure it out later. I'm naturally fast. But by January, the calendar caught up to me. Our season opener was set for March 7th and pure panic set in. I realized I was completely out of shape, so I did what many undisciplined people try to do. I tried to cram for the test. I tried to rush months of missing aerobic fitness into just 4 weeks. I slammed the gas pedal to the floor and forced my body to a brutal 123-mile month for the month of February. I was running on pure panic. And the crazy part is, on March 7th, it felt like all of that worked. I stepped onto the tight banks of the indoor track and opened up at 2:06. I remember crossing the line and feeling this massive wave of relief. My ego instantly kicked in and said, see, you really are built different. You can slack off all winter, cram 4 weeks, and still run 2:06 indoors. Here's the thing, you can never cheat the grind because your body will keep the exact score. Take a completely untrained aerobic system, shock it with a 123-mile month, and drop it into a max effort race. Your system is going to redline. Days into that race, my immune system completely collapsed and I was diagnosed with RSV. If you ever had it, RSV is not just a simple cold. It inflames your lower respiratory tracts and blocks your lungs with mucus. For a half miler who completely relies on oxygen transfer, that's a catastrophic health crisis. I spent 4 weeks flat on the back of the couch, unable to train, unable to build a base, watching the entire indoor calendar slip through my fingers. By April 4th, it was the first official outdoor meet, the SHS Open. I was completely out of shape and my lungs were physically scarred by the virus. But my stubbornness told me that my talent would completely carry me through 2 laps. Coach threw me in the 800 leg of the DMR. I got the baton, took off, hit the backstretch, and my lungs completely closed up. I crossed the line in a straight up embarrassing 2:11. Standing on the infield after that race was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. That 2:11 didn't just feel awful for me. It completely ruined the hard work of the other guys on the team who worked their butts off to pass me the baton. When you slack off in the dark, your failure eventually prints itself right out in public. And it hurts the people who are counting on you. I knew I had to get back to work. On April 15th, I ran 2:07.57. Then came April 21st at the Hickman Invitational. This is the specific scene where my body tried to give me a coward's exit. In the Open 800, I ran 2:04.01, which was a solid step forward for me. It showed the fitness was trying to return. But later that evening, coach put me on the leadoff leg of the 4x4. I didn't even use blocks. I just took a standing start. The gun went off and I split a blazing 52.3. If you know track, splitting a 52.3 from a standing start means your pure power and sprint speed is completely off the charts. And right there, I fell into a major psychological trap. Because I was underperforming in my main event, the 800, but completely flying in the short sprint, I started telling myself a convenient lie to protect my ego. I convinced myself that I had peaked in the 800. I literally sat on the bus on the way home thinking, maybe I'm not a middle distance guy anymore. Maybe my body transitioned into a short sprinter. I want you guys to think about where you guys are doing this in your own life right now. When the goals you set get incredibly hard and your progress plateaus because you didn't do the baseline work, your brain will instantly try to rewrite your identity and give you the easy way out. It will try to completely convince you that you reached your limit in one area to save yourself the pain from admitting that you messed up. You didn't peak, you just didn't want to face the grind. Because I mentally checked out of the 800 and assumed I peaked, my consistency completely vanished. On May 6th, I hit a wall, 203.28, and this brings us to May 1st, the Warner Knights Invitational. Coach put me on the varsity 4x8, and I completely dropped the ball. I ran a garbage 208 split. Going down from a 204 to a 208 at a massive premier meet like the Warner Knights Invitational is a complete disaster. And if you are inconsistent enough, the world will make a business decision about you. My coach did. After that 208, he completely pulled my name off of the 4x8 for the rest of the championship season. I was completely removed from the 4x8 and banished to the open 800. If you don't stay disciplined, you will get replaced by your coach, your boss, or your competition. When my coach dropped me from that relay, the safety net was completely gone. I didn't have teammates to pull a 156 split to cover up my mistakes anymore. It was just me, 2 laps on an open track, and the exact consequences of my lazy winter choices. Getting benched finally woke a monster up. It stripped away all the BS excuses about RSV and being a 400 runner. I realized I hadn't peaked in the 800 yet. I just haven't been digging deep enough. On May 14th at the conference meet, I stood on the line completely alone. I rejected the lie that I was just a short sprinter, stepped over the line, and ran a lifetime personal record of 202.34. The speed was there, the capability was there, but I made the ultimate rookie mistake. I ran out of calendar. Sectionals was exactly 6 days away. Because I spent October through January on the couch, February panic training, March sick, April playing mental games with my identity, I didn't leave my body enough calendar days to actually peak. Just 2 weeks ago, May 20th at sectionals, the physical depth caught up to me. My body completely gave out. I crossed the line in 204 high and I finished dead last. Think about that. A 204 high is a respectable time for a sophomore. It beats a lot of runners. But at the sectional level, when everybody has been stacking blocks of consistency since October, a 204 high completely gets you swallowed alive. I didn't just lose, I got left in the dust. And just like that, my sophomore season was dead. Instead of living up to the legacy of being the 4th fastest freshman in school history, my name is locked in the record books as the 8th fastest sophomore. I completely missed the sub 2 barrier. Not because I lacked the talent, but because I let the calendar beat me. I wanted to show you my actual stats today just to prove to you the calendar does not care about your excuses, your illnesses, your identity crises, or your self-doubt. I have to sit here for the entire summer off season, stewing in my own failure because I didn't execute in October. I have to live with those 2 seconds every day I put on my running shoes. And honestly, I don't want that for you. If you have a dream or a goal, you cannot just assume that you have all the time in the world to reach it. Hard work builds your skill, but urgency is a mental choice that you have to make right now. You cannot cheat the system and you cannot cram for success at the last minute. Stop coasting off what you did last year and stop waiting for tomorrow. Look at your goal, look at the calendar, and realize that you are already running out of time. Lock in today before the clock makes the choice for you.